Could your entrepreneurial mindset be holding you back in your scaling efforts? If you've ever felt stuck in taking your business to the next level, this video is for you. In this video, I'm going to cover the different types of mindsets between entrepreneurial and scale up. And I'm also going to give you some common and easy solutions to basically try and switch that mindset based on what you need. The entrepreneurial mindset is free, it's flexible, you wear all the hats, sometimes at the same time. You're firefighting, every opportunity is new and exciting. And don't get me wrong, it's a fantastic mindset. It's what got you here. I remember when I first started up my companies in the early days, I was working 16-hour days, I was burning out, the business was doing well, but I felt like as if I had to run everything. And I was the best at it. Sound familiar? If you've got the same, then you know what I'm talking about. And that mindset is fantastic to get started, but as you start to move into that scale-up mentality, it's actually a problem and gets in the way. On the other hand, the scale-up mindset is completely different. You're no longer firefighting. You step back and you assess and you strategize. You're not reactive, you're proactive. You're not sort of sitting there trying to look at every client and running every aspect of the business, micromanaging. You're planning. You're taking that step back. You're having a look at the interactions across all lines of your business and thinking of the best process to handle the 90 to 95%. That last 5%, you're happy to either ignore it or just let staff manage it on their own. But you're taking that step back and really changing that whole mindset to a very procedural, structured, and managed type mindset. The conflict is clear. The entrepreneurial startup mindset makes you a rock star. You're the center of the business. You're the one that's got all the solutions. You've got a million plates spinning all at the same time. And it's obvious that the scale-up mindset is completely different to this. The scale-up mindset does not want you or anyone at the center. You can't be the bottleneck to the process. You've got to be removed from that process. There can't be plates delicately spinning. Everything has just got to be aligned and everything has to be programmed and automated and put under management so that everything can flow with wider or ever-expanding bandwidth. It's one of the core critical things about the scale-up versus the startup mentality. Emotionally, it's difficult to move to that kind of mindset because it's about letting go, right? How's my business going to do without me running all these things, without me chasing that person up, without making sure that that client has been looked after, without making sure that these leads have followed step A, B, C, D? How's it all going to happen? It's just not going to happen. And that's difficult emotionally. But what most people don't realize is that the main thing there is actually trust. And it's trust in your people, trust in your systems, and trust in the process that you establish through that scale up to give your customers a good experience and to let you continue having success in a constantly growing way. The first step in dealing with this is to try and create some space. You cannot do this while you're, spinning all these plates and you're busy with everyone and you're busy with the day-to-day, where you've got 300 emails to go through, where you've got 10 questions from different customers and staff. You need to have that room. Now, that might be, a weekend away. It might be a week away from the business. Whatever it is, you need the room and the space. What do you want to do with that space and what do you want to think about? Frankly, the first thing you need to do is just look at yourself and be frank and honest with yourself. Do you like doing this stuff? Are you, going to really sit there and be brutally honest about doing this grunt work, because it is grunt work, to have a look at the processes that happen between different departments or different team members in your business and mapping those out in detail so that you can convert this into a process? Can you do this systematically while you can see those fires raging there? Are you able to just ignore those fires and focus on building the process? If the answer is yes, great. You've got a shot at switching your mindset to the scale-up mindset and completing those tasks. If the answer is no, there's other solutions, but we'll get to those. The core solutions or options that you've got in moving from startup to scale-up are obviously do-it-yourself, number one. Now, as we discussed, if you're happy to do that grunt work, you're happy to actually step out of the business and do that, and you actually can, because sometimes founders are so intricately involved that they don't even have time to do this. But if you can do it, that's going to be your new job. Now, you might do this by hiring someone else to take over your critical tasks first, and then you step into that role. So when you think about that, it might actually take you a year to almost get into that position. Step one would be to identify what are the critical elements that I need out of my life to be able to dedicate myself to this. Step two is what kind of role would I hire to take over those roles? And step three would be let's hire, move myself out, and with that extra time, focus on the scaling up. But there is where you've got to be honest with yourself. Because like I just mentioned, if you don't like doing this process grunt work, maybe you can hire it out. And the hiring out takes two options. It could be one of your staff members that you know is pretty good at procedural stuff, likes documenting everything, likes keeping everything very tidy and clinical, and they could almost champion the project for you and keep coming back to you for reference. But be careful of that because you still need to run that process and your staff member won't necessarily know what the best calls are. The second option realistically is to outsource it. Now, to outsource it, it's obviously a consultant or someone like that, but be careful of consultants. And the reason I say that is because most consultants are very deep in one space. They might be marketing consultants, they might be management consultants, they might be something else, sales consultants. You actually need a real generalist. The generalist is able to look across your marketing, your sales, your operations, your IT, everything, and look at all those processes and see where they can all come together to form that perfect experience that you've been delivering to your clients all along. Finally, as you're building all of this new process and procedures, be sure to look for opportunities to automate everything. In our modern world, if you're not automating, you're just losing out on potential. If there's an easy task that a computer can do, or an email can do, or an AI process can do, make sure that you do it. Don't go overspending on anything fancy, but if it's something that's obvious to automate, make sure that you do as part of this process. So there you have it. Scaling isn't just about working harder with the same mindset. It's actually about looking at your business through a different lens, putting on that new mindset and thinking about the business as a process and considering it from that bandwidth capability, making sure you've removed any bottlenecks that are in the business. I hope that's been helpful for you. Let me know what you've been struggling with in terms of scaling, either now or perhaps in the past, and I'll catch you in the next video.